A very good morning to all. I am S. Emmanuel, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Chemistry, St. Joseph's College, Cuddalore. Today we are going to discuss about the acid-base concept. What is acid? What is base? After these classes, we are know about what is acid, what is base, what are the examples are using in acid and bases. First, we are going to talk about the general introduction of acid and base. Introduction. It is depending upon the ions produced in the solution. This is very important. The ions produced in the solution. The substances are classified into acids and bases. The acidic and basic nature of matter is more essential to study about the chemical reactions. So, the acid and base concepts are very important for the chemical reactions. So, in general introduction, explained about the ions produced in the solution. What kind of ion will be produced in the solution? Positive ion or negative ion? This is the general concept of acid and bases. So, this concept is very important for the chemical reactions. First, we are going to explain about the definition of acids. What is acid? An acid is a substance that gives hydrogen ions H plus by itself or in aqueous solution. That is called as acid. So, any substance will be produced in H plus ion. In general introduction, the ion produced in the solution. So, in acid, that mean by the H plus ion, positive ion produced in the biself or aqueous solution. So, you can take any substance and transfer into the aqueous solution or water. It is produced in positive ion, that is called as acid. Another definition of acid: an acid is a substance that gives hydrogen ions H plus by self or in aqueous solution. Example, HCl is produced H plus and Cl minus. We are taking nitric acid, that also produced in H plus positive ion plus NO3 minus. So, we are compare with the introduction part and this example part. In introduction says about any solution produced in ions. So, ions means positive ion, negative ion. In this case, the acids are produced in positive ion in aqueous solution, that is called as acid. For example, HCl and HNO3 both are produced in the H plus positive ion. So, the positive ion also called as H acids. Next one, base. A base is a substance that gives ions of OH minus by itself or in aqueous solution. So, in base definition, any substance produced in minus ion. In acid concept, we are discussed about positive ion. Any substance produced in positive ion in aqueous solution or itself, that is called as acid. In base, any substance produced or gives in negative ion itself or aqueous solution, that is called as base. So, the important word is gives OH minus ion itself or aqueous solution. In example, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. In sodium hydroxide solution is produced or gives Na plus and OH minus ion. In potassium hydroxide, it is given K plus and OH minus ion. In this concept, we are taken about the negative ion. So, Any substance produced in positive ion, that is called as acid. Any substance produced in negative ion, that is called as base. We are give some example for acid and base. In acid, we are taken the HCl solution. It is produced in positive ion H plus. In base, the example for sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, it is produced in OH minus ion. So, in the general introduction of acid base concept, we are explained about any substance or compound produced in ion that only depends upon acid or base character. So, acid and base general introduction is depends upon the ionic character, positive ion or negative ion. Next, we are going to talk about what are the theories of used in acid bases concept. So, the main three classifications are going on. Next, we are going to talk about the theories of acid and base. The main theories of acid and base concept, three things is very important. First one, Arrhenius theory. Second one, Lowry-Bronsted theory. Third one, Lewis theory. By the following theories, the acidic and basic nature of substances can be easily explained. Arrhenius theory, Lowry-Bronsted theory, Lewis theory. First, we are going to talk about Arrhenius. First, we are going to talk about Arrhenius theory. In this theory, explained by in 1827. According to this theory, an acid is a substance that gives hydrogen H plus ions in water or in aqueous solution. So, in this theory, produced and discovered by Arrhenius scientist in 1827, he talk about in acid is a substance that gives H plus ion in aqueous solution. So, any aqueous solution produced in H plus ion, that only the acid. For example, H2SO4. It is the solution produced in 2H plus SO4 2 minus. So, in H2SO4 is the acid concept because it is produced in the or gives hydrogen ion in aqueous solution. In another example, HCl. HCl also produced in H plus ion in aqueous solution. So, HCl also called as acid. The HCl gives H plus ion in water, hence it is called as acid. So, any substance gives hydrogen or produced hydrogen ion in aqueous solution, that is called as acid. This is very important. So, you can take any substance and you can dissolve it in any aqueous solution. It produced in H plus ion, that only the acid concept of Arrhenius theory. In base, a base is a substance that gives hydroxyl ion in water or in aqueous solution. This is the opposite concept of acid. So, Arrhenius said a base is the substance that gives hydroxyl ion. Hydroxyl ion means OH minus ion in water or in aqueous solution. For example, sodium hydroxide, it is gives OH minus ion in aqueous solution. So, sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide is the example for Arrhenius base concept. So, in general introduction of this Arrhenius theory, acid means the substance gives hydrogen positive ion in aqueous solution, that is called as acid. In Arrhenius base, explained by any substance produced OH minus ion in aqueous solution, that is called as base. The sodium hydroxide give OH minus ion in water, Hence, it is called as base. The strength of an acid or base depends upon the extent to produce H plus or OH minus during the ionization. So, any acid or base, strong or weak, how to identify? The simply identified in the how much positive H plus or OH minus ion produce. That only depends upon this kind of acid is strong or weak, or this kind of base is strong or weak. So the strong acid, weak acid, strong base, weak base, it also depends upon the producing agent of H plus or OH minus ion, that only determine the strong acid, weak acid, strong base and weak base. The limitations of Arrhenius acid base concept. It is the valid only in aqueous solution or water soluble acid and bases. In second point, it is difficult to explain the basic properties of non-hydroxyl compounds like ammonia, sodium carbonate. So, the limitations means in Arrhenius concept only depends upon the aqueous solution or water soluble acid and bases. In many kinds of acid and bases not soluble in water. So how to find out this concept acid or base? So it is the limitation of Arrhenius theory. In another one, it is explained the basic properties of non-hydroxyl compound like ammonia and sodium carbonate. So this is the limitation of Arrhenius acid base concept. In Arrhenius theory, explained in acid is a substance, it gives H plus ion in aqueous solution. In base, a substance produced in OH minus ion in aqueous solution. So sodium carbonate is acid or base, we are know. So this is the limitation of Arrhenius theory. Again we recall the Arrhenius theory. In acid base concept classified to many types of theory. This is the first one, Arrhenius theory. Arrhenius scientists discovered in this theory in 1827. Arrhenius said in acid is a substance that gives hydrogen plus ion in aqueous solution. So any substance gives or produced in H plus ion in aqueous solution, that is called as acid. Base is a substance that gives hydroxyl ion in aqueous solution. For example, sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, both the substances are produced in OH minus ion in aqueous solution. This is the Arrhenius theory of acid base concept. Thank you. Now I recall the general introduction of acid base and Arrhenius theory. Introduction. The acid base concept, the mainly depending upon the ions produced in the solution. What kind of ion? Positive ion or negative ion? The definition of definition of acid. An acid is a substance that gives the hydroxyl. Sorry, just to recall the points. The general introduction. The acid and bases are depending upon the ion produced in the solution. What kind of ion will be produced in the solution? Positive ion or negative ion? This is the general introduction. Some definition based on the general introduction. Acid. Acid is a substance that gives hydrogen ion, H plus ion, by itself or in aqueous solution. Example HCl. HCl produced in H plus ion. So, we simply said HCl is the acid. In base, base is a substance that gives OH minus ion by itself or in aqueous solution. So, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide is the example of base. So, in sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide produced in OH minus ion in aqueous solution or OH minus in water substance.